Um, so a little bit ago, we did a video on a particular individual's book. His name is Matt Walsh, everyone's favorite bearded weirdo. He made a book about it was like an anti-trans book. Do you remember that? And he was like, "Oh, boys can't be girls, girls can't be boys," and he was like reading it to kids that didn't give a shit about it. Remember that video? Well, anyway, apparently a lot of people watched that video, and Matt Walsh got mad at them. And so now he made a video called Responding to Transgender YouTuber Allies Who Hate My Children's Book. So he thinks that all the YouTuber allies, transgender YouTuber allies, I mean, I don't know. This is very interesting. Yeah, Walrus Kid. Yeah. So this is Matt Walsh. Whoa, loud, bro. Canceled.
So longtime fans of this show will remember that last week, a long time ago, we canceled trans YouTuber Samantha Lux, who posted a video attacking my best-selling LGBT novel, Johnny the Walrus, which is available for pre-order at johnnythewalrus.com. After I debunked Sam's debunking, many people in the comments informed me that YouTube is in fact full of videos criticizing my seminal work of children's literature, Johnny the Walrus, which is available at johnnythewalrus.com. They wanted to know why I only picked on good old Sam while leaving these other would-be debunkers unscathed.
Damn, unscathed.
Well, as you know, I'm a big advocate for equity and inclusion.
The leftists have remained unscathed.
I would never want to single anybody out unfairly or leave anybody out unfairly. And so today, I'm going to go through all the other anti-Johnny the Walrus videos on the platform and cancel all of them.
All of them? There's no way he's going through all of them. There's too many.
Now, we're not going to have time, unfortunately, to watch all these videos in their entirety.
Wait, am I featured on this? Because I definitely made this video and was in a corn suit, and maybe that stood out. I actually haven't seen this video. There's no way I'm on this, right?
But we'll watch a short and hopefully representative clip from each, just so we get an idea of what they're all about, enough to demonstrate why they deserve to be canceled. Some of these videos are from accounts with lots of subscribers. Some of them have a subscriber base that includes their immediate families and nobody else. And some probably don't even have a fan base that large. But we're gonna include the whole spectrum today, because I think that's the fairest thing. And again, this is about equity. So we begin with the YouTube channel Just a Lazy Gamer. Already you can appreciate the self-awareness at the very least. Let's see what Lazy Gamer has to say about my book.
Yes, Matt Walsh has decided to
wow, these people are actually
make a book hating on trans children. Because, you know, you got to get that hate speech in when they're young. But here's the thing. He's also decided to do the
Let's Go Brandon
song Bryson Gray approach and go, hey, maybe you can get me in the top 10. And that'll really show him if you give me your money. And if we go to Amazon, he's already got 23 ratings. No verified purchasers, of course, because the book hasn't made it to anyone's door. Now, this book is on Amazon. Amazon has rules against hate speech in their book. They have that in the rules. And I get the feeling he's hoping that this book gets banned on Amazon to play the victim even more, maybe after they get it up to like number 15 or whatever
fucking
on charts.
leftist audio, dude.
And of course he's selling signed copies for, I think it's $30 with $10 shipping. Because of course he is. Because the grifting never stops.
Okay, to begin with, he talks about there's a signed copies. $30 for a signed copy is a steal. I'm literally the most prominent and respected LGBT children's author in American history, as well as the country's leading cult leader and the most generous philanthropist.
I might be the best cult leader, personally.
The Abuela fundraiser of the 21st century. So my signature is worth thousands. That I'd give it away for a measly $30 just speaks, again, to my generosity, not to mention my humility. Furthermore, I take great exception to the claim that we wanted to get banned from Amazon after reaching number 15 on the chart. That's absurd. We wanted to get banned after reaching the top 5. We did get to the top 5, but we didn't get banned. Instead, we just got banned from Target, which was a rather sort of disappointing runner-up prize. Finally, the book does not...
He has Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. He just does. He do. It drives me nuts. He has little tiny forearms. They're not correct. It looks like Matt Walsh. His head is puppeteering a flesh Zord of a smaller person. That makes sense? Like he he's just ahead, and they sort of like seal him into what looks like a human Megazord.
Hate on trans kids, primarily because there's no such thing as trans kids. My issue is with the adults who have invented the category of trans kids. So if I'm hating on anyone, it's them, because they're morally debased child abusers. Hopefully that clears that up. Now we have YouTuber Sam Collins. Sam has a larger presence on YouTube, over 800,000 subscribers. Let's see what Sam has to offer. And a simple procedure cuts feet into fins. The doctor wants to cut into Johnny and make him into a walrus.
Ah, there it is. The whole mutilation thing. Because we chop ourselves up. Remember, when we have surgeries, we're mutilating ourselves and we're chopping ourselves up. It's also funny because this book is about a child, and I've said over and over again, and many trans people have said that children don't get surgeries. We could say it 1,000 times, but these people still just choose not to believe what we say. It's really...
I actually think this is kind of a good thing for Matt Walsh's audience. Because you're seeing leftist people be like, that's just not how it is, dude. And like, sure, most of the time they're just going to ignore it and not listen or anything like that. But some of them might listen, you know?
Really funny because this can be explained with just one simple thought. Children don't get surgery, right? How would you ever have surgery when you're not fully developed anyways? You can't cut this off if it's not there. So please explain to me how these children are getting surgeries.
Happily, I'll explain it. A few points here. First, no, I don't think that when trans people have surgery, they're mutilating themselves. Because if you have a trans person who has gallbladder surgery or gets their ACL repaired or has heart surgery, I wouldn't call that mutilation. Surgeries that are meant to treat medical issues are not mutilation.
Am I mistaken? or are serious mental health diagnoses that lead to surgery being the treatment or part of the treatment, not serious? Like, what part of the actual treatment of the diagnosis is to transition to the, like, whatever, whether that just is socially or it could extend into the physical, right? And often does. Not always, but sometimes. Like, I don't know how you couldn't consider that essential, and I also don't know how you couldn't consider this essential. Like, come on. Come on, dude. What am I supposed to do? Am I not supposed to tweet that? Ridiculous.
No matter who's getting them. But a surgery that destroys a healthy body part or that slices open a healthy
What was the name of the person, Carp Kosian?
Organ and flips it inside out is mutilation no matter who's getting it. By definition, that's mutilation. Now, if you don't believe me, let's go to the dictionary. Mutilation, here's the definition. An act or instance of destroying, removing, or severe...
Kevin. That's who I thought it might be. Okay. Tell you what. You don't worry about that, okay? We'll take care of it later.
Severely damaging a limb or other body part of a person or animal. So what happens to the penis during a sex change surgery? What happens to a woman's breasts during top surgery?
What? What do you mean?
These parts of the body are either removed or destroyed.
So what are you talking about? That's what happens with gallbladders and stuff. What do you mean? All surgery mutilates if that's the standard to which we decide that. Like, what? I guess if you guys get oral surgery, you're mutilating your mouth.
They are, by definition, mutilated.
No,
there's no denying this.
I mean, okay, in the same way that like a life-saving amputation is mutilation. Cool. Then it means nothing. Then it because the connotation of mutilation is like gross or something. Like it's icky. It's like, okay, I guess it's icky. You can find it icky. Who gives a shit? Okay, Matt finds it icky, everybody. I guess you don't get to be happy.
Now, as for the claim that children don't get these procedures, that is, for one thing, a lie. Minor girls do, in fact, have their breasts removed. It's very common. Happens all the time. Minor boys have even had their penises mutilated. That
circumcision
also happens. But even if that weren't happening, Still, children are being conditioned to make those choices, quote unquote, later on.
I have no idea, by the way, where he's talking about this. I have never seen like prepubescent or in the middle of puberty people getting like sex reassignment surgery. Like, it's not a thing. Like, again, it doesn't make any sense. You can't remove breasts that don't exist. You know what I mean? It's just not a thing.
On in life, they're being put on that path, even though they don't understand the path they're on. And even if most boys aren't
right, you'd assume his natural response would be, okay, so hormone blockers are good because they prevent the surgeries, at least to some extent. You know what I mean? And then later on, if you want the genital surgery, which is a like there's so much. I mean, I don't think Matt Walsh understands what goes through, like what the process is to even get surgery, like bottom surgery. Okay, because he's assuming like penis cut off, right? Dick's being cut off. It's just lop the fuck off, and they go bleh, and just make it look vaguely like a bussy or something, or like a puss, right? A neo-puss. There's so much more that goes into it. You need like electrolysis because you can't have hair growth on the inside. You need to make sure that you do tons of shit. There's not only that, the recovery and stuff. You'd want someone that's like fully developed, just so that they're not like growing during that period of time. It's just not a safe procedure to do on someone that's super, super young, like he's like clearly intimating that is happening. These are procedures for people that are almost universally adults or very close to it, right? I can't imagine that there's many 17-year-olds getting this done. Like, it's just so much longer. It's so much longer a process than that. Like, even if a 17-year-old wanted to get it done, it would take 2-3 years to get to the point where it would be viable. Like, it's not a thing. Especially with American healthcare. Exactly.
Aren't being physically altered through surgery. They are being given puberty blockers like Lupron, which is chemical castration.
That's not what... Buddy.
The same drug used to chemically castrate sex offenders. So your argument, Sam, is that the boys aren't...
That's not what... I think calling it chemical castration is like maybe he thinks that's like a very severe thing. It just makes your spunky not work. It makes your testosterone levels go down. And so in the chemical castration of male sex offenders, or in the past just when they criminalized gay folks, like this happened to Alan Turing in the UK. He was chemically castrated before his demise, and that was caused by this kind of thing. Because he ended up killing himself because people didn't accept him for who he was, Matt. Yeah. I don't know that these guys... I can't imagine, right, that Matt Walsh actually gives a shit, or anybody that does this kind of thing. It seems very hard to consider that they actually care, like, empathetically about the people that they're arguing on behalf of, which is young trans kids, right? Or young kids who they believe are brainwashed into being trans, which is just wild. Like, I don't know who you're trying to protect because the numbers are out there. It's not like a mystery. This is a discovered and true thing, which of course right wingers have an incredible hard time like dealing with fact in any sort of facet of society. It never seems like they land on the right answer for goddamn anything, like ever. But Jake, they require Matt to think. You would I guess it's just surprising to me how these people continue to move with their lives like this. Like Matt Walsh is he's just a bad guy. I don't know how he justifies this. He's like, I'm saving kids. Does he actually think that? Or does he know that he can just get money from Republican people for agreeing with them? Like, how much of this is actually his like true opinion. Like, it just seems so fucking scumbaggy. Izinu, thanks so much for the 100 biddies.
Aren't being surgically castrated, they're just being chemically castrated. And even that argument, as insane as it is also factually wrong. The truth is that both things are happening. Now we turn to YouTuber Justin Freakin. The guy's he's a formidable voice in the culture. He has 6,000 subscribers, averages easily over 30 views per video, and his channel
I'm pretty sad Matt didn't pick me for this. I feel like we had a banger on that video.
Description promises, quote,
it's maybe because I was too funny, dude, and a little weird.
Uncensored.
I'm surprised he didn't make fun of me for the corn
debate
suit.
From a leftist perspective, the day's top news stories and videos with astute social commentary.
I'm absolutely going to do more Matt Walsh content, though. I desperately want him to. I desperately want him to try to make fun of the corn suit.
Not sure if we can trust the part of the part about astute social commentary. I don't know about that. We'll find out in a minute. But we can be confident that it's uncensored. If this guy's a leftist, then certainly we can be assured that he has not been
like a
censored.
heat-seeking missile. Yeah.
So let's see what he brings to the table.
Not as insane as Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire releasing a children's book. Here is Matt Walsh apparently getting some children together for story hour with sweet baby Matt Walsh.
Sweet baby Matt Walsh. There's a lot going on in this stream.
Okay. Hello, boys and girls.
Yeah, the kids look about as enthused as we are. He didn't draw the cartoons, and that's the main part of the book. Like, passing yourself off as the author of this stupid book is insane. Because you know what this book is? This book is a actual talented illustrator. And then some dumb words on top of it.
Honestly, I don't know why this guy doesn't get more views. I mean, he's like Macho Man Randy Savage. If Macho Man Randy Savage...
Jake's noticed me, said
could only bench
coming. Notice me, Matt Walsh. Do you know why I want Matt Walsh to notice me most? Do you know why that would be fun? Because I actually think he would have such a fucking frustrating time having a conversation with me. You know what I mean? I think he'd fucking hate that shit, and that makes me real happy. I like the idea of that. Imagine Matt Walsh having a conversation with me. He would fucking hate that shit, bro. I'm way too easygoing for him. I'd be like, yeah, man, it is what it is. He's like, why take things seriously? I'll be like, nah, I'm good, brah. You suck, though. My facial hair? Okay. Wait. My facial hair is not superior to Matt Walsh's. What are you talking about? Look how close that is to his lip line, dude. He's a borderline Russian. Mine comes in all like, it's a little trashy. You know, it's not bad at this point in my life. It's not a bad thing, but we don't have like he's got a good beard, dude. His beard is the only good part about him.
Press 45 pounds and was a hippie. But Randy has exposed a startling truth, that I did not illustrate my own children's book. I have tried to keep this hidden by putting the illustrator's name on the cover. I was hoping to hide it in plain sight, and my plan almost worked until Seth Rogen's unemployed cousin foiled the plot. All right, let's
He thought that was a good joke. God damn, he didn't look like Seth Rogen.
finish this up with a somewhat larger account. This is Walsh or Vosh. I don't know how to pronounce his name. 386,000 subscribers. His video
always
is titled
Walsh,
Matt
dude.
Walsh Reads His New Anti-Trans Book to Kids, and I Am Incredibly Uncomfortable. And the video's done pretty well for him. It's got nearly 150,000 views. Let's skip ahead to, I think, what is, I guess, the crux of his argument against my book.
Incoming Walsh.
Wait, what is the lesson at the... Wait, now is he bird gender? Wait, what does any of this mean?
Flower Girl, thanks for 24 months.
What does any of this mean, man? No, he said earlier, people online told us...
The video's quiet. What are you talking about? It's so loud.
A well-meaning mother was duped by evil transgender SJWs. Yeah, okay, but, like, what about the kid? Like, the kid didn't seem... After the kid said, I am a walrus, woo-woo, and had a picture taken of him, The kid had no input whatsoever. Did the kid want to eat the worms? If not, why didn't he stop? What was the kid like, I don't want to eat the worms, and the mom was like, no, you have to. The people on Instagram said that you have to, or I'm a big, like, I don't want to dig into this too hard because it's obviously really stupid, but I am genuinely astounded by the incompetence with which this was put together. Like, they paid an artist, they had it published, like, it's on sale. Like, how do you not put a little more effort? Not even just the quality of the art, but like the language used betrays such an incredible incompetence in using allegory to deliver a political message.
I agree.
That's true. I'm not good with language. I mean, we can't all be wordsmiths like Walsh here, who says things like, the language used betrays such an incredible incompetence in using allegory to deliver a political message.
Wait, what? Wait, what? His big burn on Walsh, his big slam on Walsh was, Walsh spoke intelligently. Damn, dude. That's... Whew. It's a hard one. That's a hard one. It's a hard pill to swallow for us lefties. Glad to be able to catch some trash. Thanks, Flower Girl, for the 1,000 biddies.
Dude, why do you speak in real life like you're a ninth grader writing a book report and trying to hit a minimum word count? You think it's a bad allegory. Just say that.
He did say it was a bad allegory. What is that? I actually don't understand what, like, when you attack somebody. So, God damn it. Matt Walsh just did a thing where someone was like, here's the specific reason I don't like your book, Matt. And Matt goes, pfft. He just ignores the fucking actual words and goes, you talk funny. Like, what the fuck? People used to do this shit in, like, high school when you'd, like, roast them and be like, yeah, you. This is not better than just saying you're fatty, right? Like, why don't you just make it a, like, oh, yeah, ooh, from a guy with long hair, and then move on? Like, it's a non sequitur, and it's a cope. It makes you look bad, Matt. Like, that's such a bad fucking look for him.
Though I'm not sure how you could judge the competence of the story or the allegory, considering you, by your own admission, don't understand the point. You're a grown adult who failed to grasp the extremely simple message in a rhyming children's book written on cardboard for preschoolers. And somehow you think that your failures of reading comprehension are an embarrassment to me.
It wasn't a failure of reading comprehension. The book was bad. That's it. That's the whole thing. It was just bad.
I mean,
book.
I am embarrassed watching this, but the embarrassment is of the secondhand variety, I assure you.
I'm not embarrassed. You are. Impressive, Matt. Dude, what an impressive, like, conversational riposte that Matt Walsh just had here. He oh wow. You imagine getting into the fucking kumite, the Thunderdome of intellectual banter that Matt Walsh has at his arsenal. What a thunderous intellect we have all had the privilege of watching. God, what a fucking cope, bro.
The good news is that you seem to have almost understood the point. So you got to the 10-yard line intellectually before you fumbled the mental football. You nearly made it all the way there. Because you note how in the story, the mom is the focus, while the child...
He's explaining the book. Matt Walsh took this seriously. He's like, you don't even make good criticisms, and then took the criticism seriously, and is now explaining the plot of his anti-trans walrus boy book.
Johnny has little input into his own alleged lifestyle choice. He's doing things, he's walking down a certain path, but it doesn't really seem like he's choosing to go in that direction. Yes, Walsh, that's the point. That's exactly the point. That's what we're going for. The fact that Johnny's mommy is really the main character in a story that's ostensibly about Johnny himself is not an accident. That's a bit of intentional irony.
That's the intentional irony? That's not what irony is. The irony in his book is that the mom is the main character of the book? That's not what that word means.
Very much an intentional, creative decision by the brilliant author of this book, which is available at johnnythewalrus.com. It's almost as if I'm trying to make the point that transgenderism among children is once again an invention of the adults around them.
That doesn't make any sense. Do you know how I know this doesn't make any sense? because adults transition, Matthew. The phenomenon of transgenderism, right? The phenomenon of becoming and feeling trans is experienced by people that are also not children. Like, this doesn't make any sense. It's like finding a butterfly and not understanding that caterpillars are the same animal. You're like, nope, only butterflies. It's like there's reasons for stuff. Like they're both the same thing. They experience a different aspect of that life. I don't know. It's just silly, man. It's the incredible cell phone of Matt. I don't know.
No child can actually choose this path. They don't have the psychological and emotional formation required to make an informed decision about fundamentally altering their identities.
Can an adult? Because they do it too. And they say, and those adults report, I wish I could have done this when I was younger. What do you mean? This might be shocking to some. I know, just because kids can't consent to things like sex, kids can't consent to some different stuff. Kids can be stupid and also understand themselves in whatever way that means, right? Like, to some extent, they can understand. And usually you can understand the big stuff, right? Like, the big stuff, like sexuality and gender. Like, teenage kids can absolutely determine for themselves, like, oh, this is how I feel. They can understand that. Teenagers are in their feels all the time, dude. All the time. And even younger kids can know who they are to some extent. Like, they know that they have particular likes and dislikes. Like, have you ever talked to a fucking child? Like, if a kid can make a determination on who they love, who they like, who their friends are, what kind of like stuff appeals to them in general, like their sensibilities about different things. Like, some kids don't like confrontation or social situations, or like there's all sorts of things that go into being a kid, because they're still humans. They're human people that suffer and enjoy things and hate things and love things. Why would you want to exacerbate the suffering of a child that feels like they're in the wrong body? It just doesn't make sense. Simply talk to these kids. My 6-year-old is adamant that we don't call her dude because she's a girl and doesn't think it's a neutral term. I definitely think dude is a neutral term, personally. Had to leave at the hype train. What's up? Doing Matt Walsh. Probably do that.
Any child, therefore, who does make such a decision, quote unquote, has been, by definition, pushed and pulled that way by the grown-ups in their lives. Do you understand now?
No.
Because I literally can't make it any simpler or plainer than that.
This implies, again, much like homosexuality, most transphobia is repackaged homophobia. I mean, it really is. They use the same exact arguments. For the gays in chat, it's always been about, like, oh, parents are actually grooming kids to become gay. Implying, of course, that there's never been an actual gay person, because it could only be through nefarious deeds that gay people exist, and then those gay people teach their kids, ? Other people's kids? I don't even know how that works, because they famously, he thinks that gay people are invalid because they can't procreate with one another. Famously, they pass this trait on through more grooming, I suppose. Again, implying that not only is every homosexual created from nefarious plots, but also will continue to perpetuate that on their own, which is obviously fucking untrue, right? Same thing with trans people. Trans people do have the benefit of being able to be open to procreation, although they don't have to. Casper, thank you so much for the 13 months, dude. This implies, of course, that trans people only come to be through nefarious plotting of a corrupt adult. And if you simply don't let them fall into that delusion as they are young children, then surely when they are adults, they will choose the cis path. It's like, then why trans adults? Then why trans anybody? What do you mean? You couldn't talk me into thinking that I would be better off feminine. Like, it's just not how I feel. And certainly that wouldn't work on Matt. At any stage of your life, right? You'd be like, yeah, that just wouldn't feel right ever. Nor would it feel right if an adult was like, hey, don't you want to suck dicks? And I'm like 12 years old and like, not really. I like titties though. That's how I sounded. And they're like, nah, dicks. And I'm like, nah. Like, I'm not going to be fucking browbeat into like enjoying that. You know what I mean? My sexuality is what it is. It just is. I've never had to like try. I have been attracted to people and not attracted to people, and it's just sort of like innate. It's never been a thing I've tried to like foment. I don't think you could. I really don't think you could just tell somebody to be attracted to somebody. It just doesn't work like that. So how in the world can you tell them that they feel a certain way, Matt? It just doesn't make sense, bro. Like, just from the premise in general.
The book is written at a reading level for kids who barely know how to read.
Yeah, and it fucking reads like that.
So if that's still above your intellectual pay grade, I'm afraid there's not much else I can do. Except say that...
Go buy the book. Fuck off. Okay, that's Matt Walsh. It's Matt Walsh's book. Just disingenuous. Really sad that he didn't pick the corn video. That's too bad. That's too bad. Went for some smaller creators and two bigger ones. That's rough. We ran down the middle too much, guys. We ran down the middle too much. Not good.